Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Gold Silver report for the 15th of March, and Blue Wave 4 here coming in at 38.2% retracement level area, and looking for a move to the upside. We still need to confirm that we are going to get a move to the upside. There's still potential for downside, and we need to be aware of both sides of the market at this point in time. So let's go to the current bullish pattern that we have at the moment, which would look a bit like this. So a WXY coming down here, and then looking at this move here as a wave 1 and back for a wave 2. It's pulled back to its 61.8%. We'll take a closer look at that. So if this is correct, then we'll see wave 3 move to the upside. But we also really just need to be mindful that this here is just like an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming back up to the same height or a bit lower, and then coming down again. I mean, we really need to be mindful of that. So we've sort of talked about it a little bit as this blue wave 4. There is another bearish count as well that takes us further down than this, but just for the purpose of the exercise, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming back up to the old highs roughly, and then move down. So we're still, we're still a way off yet. It's not like we've got a nice sort of structure at this point in time as a nice impulse wave to the upside with a nice ABC back here just yet. We don't have that. We only have this first little wave in here. So that can be an A and a B and a C to this point here. So we really need to get past that point, or we need to be able to find this particular count in some other market, some gold stocks or ETFs or something or other. Sometimes we get leads from different places, but yeah, we're not out of the woods yet. Just banking on this being the low here in a bear market is, asking for trouble. So, but at the same time, we need to work what we see and trade what we see off the lows, and continue to work it up. So we'll do that as well, but just don't get sold on either side. Don't become a believer in one side or the other without evidence. So yeah, with that in mind, we'll go in and take a closer look. So we've been playing the bullish side. So we're looking at this move up here as wave 1 or wave A, and then coming back for the 61.8% there at the 1700. We were looking at that on the tick chart last time we spoke, and then looking for a move up, which we've got at the moment. Now, you could have gone long on the 61.8%, but it'll take a bit of intestinal fortitude to do that, or drawing a line through here is also possible as well. Or what I was mentioning was to get support on 10 and 20 to build in on those positions. So that's also possible as well. So just going into the tick chart and sorting through this a little bit further. Just bring a bit more data in. So yeah, look, this is where we've been off the low down here, and I won't go over it all, but 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and then going up for wave 5 here. So we've got that, that's okay. And then we were looking for a move back, and we had two options the other day, didn't we? At Friday, I think we spoke. We were looking for either a move back to the 61.8% at the 1700, or if it was going to push up from this current low here, because sometimes the wave 2 can be quite short, and we don't want to be sort of, you just got to be prepared for everything, because if the market, you were set on the market moving back to the 61.8%, but it didn't do that, it just got here and found support on 30 and went off, you'd be left standing there, wouldn't you? You never heard the starting gun. So we talked about this here and finding support on top of this level here on top of 30 with a classic trading level. It never happened, but we never got it from this point moving up here, and that's okay, but it's just good to go over these things. It's not like that. It's not really a matter of being wrong or right. It's about making money and being on the right side at the right time, and as we know, trading is a little bit of a tricky thing. So we've got to try to get that sort of house edge on our side. We talked about it also coming back to the 61.8%, and and then building in on 1710 and on 1720 and also 1730 as well. So with 1730 here, what we can see is we've got, if you're not in the market at the moment, that's okay too, but what we'd be looking for here would be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then an ABC pattern, and then moving up from that point. So in that instance, then this one here is the right place to put that and the right time to go long at this point. Going long over here might be good. If you're just trading mini contracts or something, you'd put the stop way over here for that and accommodate that. But what we're looking for here really is that we can find this from this low here. We're looking for wave 1 up here somewhere. I haven't counted all of this up, but we can see that that's the third wave here, so there'll be some fourth and fifth finishing there, but the market can pull back to the 50-60% again, which is, let's just draw it in down here. And that's where that can come back to before heading higher. So we've got a little bit to get through just yet, it doesn't, in lots of ways. And that's why we need to keep this. I had the stop down under here. If that was triggered in here, then stops under here. We can bring that up and keep it, we'll just have to keep it here. So if you're trading one mini contract or something, that would probably only be, I don't know, $20 or something. So not a biggie, but if you got thing in there, that'd be like $40 and so on. So you just certainly don't want to overexpose yourself. We don't even know if this is going to be wave 2 here and wave 3 up here yet. All of this here can be the A wave to here, the B wave to here, and the C wave coming up to somewhere between that high here and the 1750 and finish and turn down from that point. So we're a long way yet from confirming things. It's okay for people to say, oh, that's the low and we're going high. And yeah, sure, they could be right, or but I just don't think we're out of the woods yet, and just step on the cautious side. So we can see from this low here, we got wave 1 and 2 here, and probably the third and fourth. So all of this is the third wave in here. So we've got all this to contend with down here as well. I mean, that I've got that as the low, but I need to go back and count that here as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that could be the low here as well on that. In fact, that one there can also be the low, which would make a little bit more sense. But anyway, we've got to do some work on that. So from here, we've got 1 and 2 and 3. Where does 3 actually finish in that? Anyway, you see that there's work to be done there. If somebody wants to do that, that's fantastic. But just on the shell of it all, we want that. The 1730 is really important because it's the top of group 1 of 1700, which is 1, 2, and 3 here, 10, 20, and 30. So getting a tested support here is really, and the trade setup here is really what we're looking at next. This here can also, as I just mentioned, that can be pulled back down into this space here. So we need to be mindful of that as well. Yeah, but anyway, it's looking good. It's looking good. We just need to get past a few things. What we really need to do actually is what we need to figure out. I need to figure out all of this now that this has occurred. We need to figure out wave 1 and 2 in here, wherever that may be, 3, 4, and 5 up here, and then the ABC pattern here. Because once we get past this 5th wave here, from 5 waves up here, once we get past that, then it's likely that we're in a bullish market at that point. That's the good news. So tomorrow we'll be looking over this side of the fence here. We may be further up. So it just depends on how you want to handle all of that. Okay, so I'm going to move on to silver. I'll just recap this a little bit before we leave it. Just go to the, say, hourly chart or something. just clean this up here. Don't need any of this. So if it's going to be a wave 4, then it's going to be the A wave here, the B wave here, and then the C wave up here. And I don't think it's got far to go because there's definitely 1 and 2 in here, excuse me. I don't know if we've got 3 and 4 here and 5 here. It'd be something like this at the old high here. And then an ABC pattern here. And it would be this one here that would turn us bullish at that point, because that C wave can belong to that high here. Otherwise we've got wave 1 here and wave 2 over here. Probably come back down to see these highs here. That's probably a nice support for that, but we'll just be a bit careful. That's number 72, which is always nice. And then we should take off here quite strong at that point, I'd say. Everything being equal. So it is looking good, but we're not out of the woods yet, that's all. So I'm just putting him in the backdrop because the bias is kind of heading to the upside. But we're not there yet, but it's sort of looking okay. We'll have a look at silver now. So with silver, I'll just look at the positive side. There is a negative side. I know some folks have had trouble getting their head around this here. So I have made assumptions, and I have got this count from the ETF market, which is kind of okay as well. It just had a better pattern to the upside. So we're counting, in a nutshell, we're counting from the low here all the way up to here as 5 waves. And I've taken that from the ETF market. So that's looking at it as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and wave 3 here, and then an A and a B and a C here for wave 4 on this low, and then moving up here. Now I know some folks are talking about, like, well, Pete, wave 1's overlapping this one here. Yeah, I kind of understand that, but it's not the case with the ETFs. Then we had we had this news event here of those guys pushing that. So it's been pushed out of whack as well, So I'm not saying that this is the correct count, but if gold's going to push up, then this is going to push up. And the point is it's about making money. And if we treat this as being bullish and, work it and try to understand it, because it's not really about this now. It's really all just about this, what builds in this place through here. So we need to see if this support holds, and we continue to build impulse waves off the low here. That's really how it plays out at this point. So I won't look at the bearish count today, because the bearish count would require this $25 mark here to become the retested resistance. So we would need to see a pattern like that first. So we need to be on the right side at the right time, and this is the closest largest number, and the market's on this side of it. So we need to be working counts on this side, unless there's something really obvious. And something that was obvious to me is that from this low here I could count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and we pulled that apart on tick chart. So those 5 waves there, that could make wave C here. And then we had this move bounce here, which we could look at as wave A here and B here and C here. So I've kind of just drawn a line through them that it's not quite true at this time, but it still could be at that point, I mean, this market from this low to this high here has pulled back down to roughly the 50-60% mark, and it's really doing that to the upside now, isn't it? So we could look at this here and just see, because once it sits on top of it 61.8%, then we could say, oh, well, that's interesting. That's really strong and bullish of that. So so it's just below, 61.8% is just below the that next, what is that? Oh, we don't want that there. We want that at the 26 mark, don't we? I'm just going to put that. Well, it's looking quite positive because it's, I mean, in a nutshell, it's just popped its head above the 26 there. But is that support? No, it's not support, but it's above the 61.8%. It could go higher because that's the supply coming in here with all that correction here. So yeah, let's go to the tick chart and just pick that up. So really what we want to see here is a bit like gold. We want to see, in one way or another, we want to see the first high above the level. It may not be finished, it may go higher, but we do want to see, you know, we want to set up this. Well, I'll get rid of that. So we had that as the setup there. We don't need that. So we could bring it down to that one. But now we're working with this level. We need to be working there. So we could use the second high here. But obviously, let's go in and have a closer look at this on the tick chart here. So as you know, I've counted this up here as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5. We've got this one over here as well. I could put that as green wave 1, and then the other wave 1 sitting on top of this, 5 waves here, but it's still a little bit early just yet. So we looked at being long above here. So I suppose we could call that wave 1 and back for wave 2 here, but we need to understand this a bit better here. Is that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down to that point? So that needs to be resolved. So there's a bit of work to do on the low here for gold and silver, because that could be 1 and 2 and 3 here, an A and a B and a C, 4 and down for 5 here. So because that's not lower than that one, so that's 1 and 2 and 3 and, well, 4 and 5 here, possibly. I need to get our head around that a little bit, okay? So apart from that, we can look at this here as an impulse wave up there. That works. So I'll just... We're getting there, that's the main point. I need to consider this a bit more. I can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here. So 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. Or can we fit all of that in? Anyway, I've got to do some work here as well, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to do some work there. It's not popping out at me. But what we're looking for here that we'll be able to pick up next session is that we're looking for, it's looking bullish, which is good. I think we're somewhere here for this. So our long trades can still be over the on these highs over here. So we need this to top first, okay? So that's what we're looking for. So once that top comes into play, you won't know it's there until it starts to drop, but we should see a reasonable correction back down into this space here for this. So you can see that we're a little way away yet, you know. We're on the wrong side of the trend over here, you know, because we've got to get through something like this. I know that's a little bit messy in here and I need to sharpen it up, but I know that I need to do some work on this low, just in case that's 1 and 2 and then 1 and 2 here. So, but I think, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, got to do some work. The other point I need to make too is that if I get all of this wrong and for some reason silver just continues to the upside here, then what I normally do in those cases when I'm, and you need to be aware of this, but so if I'm wrong with it pulling back here and having this 3, 4, 5 and ABC here, then this is where we use this level here, the top of group 1, so the 26 here. So what we need to do here is that look for a classic trading levels pattern on top of group 1, and if that gets triggered, just be aware of that pattern. If that gets triggered, you need to be long from that point on top of group 1, so the 26.30, because that's at the point that I would be wrong with this, okay? And sometimes it's not that we're wrong, sometimes it's just that the market just extends higher. But if we get support on that level on top of the 30, that tells me that we're finished with this number here, and then we'll be looking up higher to the next number. The 26.50 here is also really important, okay? So just note that number, and you'll want to be looking for a pattern like this on the 26.50 here. So the 26 is important, the 27 is important, but the 26.50 is also really important. It's kind of a balance point, and we should see that come in a little bit later in all of this. Okay, I'll leave it at that, but yeah, all we're looking for here in silver, in line with gold, is a top and then a pullback, and then we can start to move in. Alrighty, cheers.